Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment, and welcome back to the channel. So we are back here with another weekly review where we are basically looking 4 weeks back all the time here with the results of the Profit Retriever. We're going to take the top 10 results and then show them all to you so that you have a very good feeling and understanding for the robot itself. And also, if you want to trade it, it'll give you some very good ideas of which currencies, indexes, or metal to actually trade, either yourself or you can go through the CopyLink service where all these signals is also set up already. But first of all, let's go and have a look at how the week itself did. So where we always also present the top 5 results. Now the top 5 results is a bit of a mix up this particular week. Normally we will also see that some of the last week's results will carry over to the next one. This particular week here, we have 5 completely new results compared to what we had last week. The results is also a bit lower than last week where we were up at about $2,200. So let's go through the 5 ones here. And actually the one in top this week is the New Zealand US dollars with $439 and 4.4%. So if you would have traded that one, a very nice profit for sure. Euro New Zealand, $332 or 3.3%. And then we have US CAD coming in at $308 or 3.1%. Great British Pounds, the second signal we have in here, $306 or 3.1%. And then we have the other one, the British Pounds USD. These are 2 different setups completely from each other, but you can see the results is coming out fairly even anyway with $293 or 2.9%. Overall, if you would have traded those particular 5 signals here for the last week, you would have made $1,678 or 3.4% for the week, which is definitely what we would call average. So it is obviously quite good and the profit is there. Nothing has blown, nothing has even come close to being blown, but 3.4% is still a bit low compared to where we are normally. And you can actually figure out where we would be normally. Simply go to our website itself and you can see each individual weeks. We always carry the last 4 weeks in there, and you can obviously find more even on our YouTube posts, our Instagram posts, things like this, where you can find all the details. On top of this also we have the last 4 videos that you see in the bottom of the screen here. So this is the weekly ones that you can go and have a closer look at to see how they have done previously and compare them to this particular week's video, in order to make sure that you get the most profitable results out of it. But also very important here, especially for this series, is the most stable ones. So the ones that continue to basically provide you a bit of cash week on week, month after month, and in this case here, the last 4 weeks. So that if they are in the top 10 here, definitely there's a good bet that they continue to do quite well, especially if you are copying all 10. That would also mean that definitely some of them is going to come home, and overall it should be very nice and profitable. Now let's also remember here that you can even go and see the monthly results. We also carry the last 4 months of the Profit Retriever results in here. And of course you can also push the button that you have in the middle of the screen and it will take you to the entire portfolio, a portfolio that is more than 400 days old. Continue to expand all the time. At the moment we have somewhere around 25 to 27 currency pairs in there that we are trying out to make sure that these will actually be profitable over long periods of time. And obviously with more than 400 days of information and data, you can definitely call that stable. And also at the bottom here, again, we just advise you how you should trade. Again, this is not trading or investment advice, but this is basically our experience with the Profit Retriever. So make sure that you also take a look at that before you start any live trading. So let's go and have a look and see exactly where the top 10 results are for this particular week. So the Excel looks like it normally does in here. So we can see that we have the numbers 1 to 10. So basically the top 10 here, we have the currency pairs and also the indexes. And in this particular case, we also even have crypto. We have the individual links that you can also find. So through the Expert Forex CopyLink service, information on last week's results. And then we have the last 4 weeks up here from week 18 to 21, this particular time around, the total sum and also the total sum in percentage. So you get a good feel for it. And this is basically set up against a $10,000 account. Or if you want to have a cents account in here, you can basically do the same with about $1,000. So let's go and have a look. And there's not much change in the top one here. The Aussie Japanese Link 98C was number one last week, again this week. And obviously we can see it is doing incredibly well. It did have the spike in week 18. Since then, it's cashing in. Week 21 was a bit on the weak side compared to the other particular weeks, but overall total sum, trading this one here for the last 4 weeks would have given you $3,041 or just over 30%. So definitely one of the best signals we have. Aussie Japanese 2 is also the same currency pair, but with a different type of settings in here. Link 129C, so that is a newer signals because we could see the first one worked out so well. It was also number 2 last week and again this week. Again, it's cashing in every single week. It didn't have the high spikes, but overall in 4 weeks time, it still did $1,444 or 15.45%. And that is definitely also an extremely good results. Bitcoin USD is number 3 also last week, so no change in the top 3 at all. Link 127C, we have brought that back into the coupling service. We can see people are using this signal, and we can also see why they are, because it is cashing in quite well every single week. It's more stable than we ever dared to hope for. And we can see that $1,202 was made for that particular account in just 4 weeks, or 12.02%. So also here, incredibly stable. USD Swiss francs, Link 36C has been extremely stable for a long time. We have seen a bit of a wobble in week 21, but it'll still make it up into the top 4. Overall has made $1,104 or 11.04%. And then we have the last one in the top 5, the Aussie USD is always doing extremely strong. Link 83C, and last week it was number 6, now moved up just slightly. And basically, again, also here it is cashing in every single week. It did also have a bad week in week 21, but we are still profitable. $90 is certainly better than a big minus. And total sum for that account, $1,087 or 10.88%. And that basically ends the top 5 for the profit retriever results. And as you can see in the bottom right here, if you would have traded those particular 5 signals here, you would have made $7,980 or 15.96% for the last 4 weeks. And that is definitely a very good profit to take home. So in just a bit of a month. So let's go to number 6, which is Euro New Zealand. That one has definitely jumped up quite nicely. It was number 12 last week. It is Link 56C. It is normally cashing in, maybe a bit lower than normal, but have a look at these. The lowest one we have for the 4 weeks is $181, and week 21 was definitely not a weak one for that one, $331. Overall, $1,082 or 10.83%. Again, extremely stable signal all the way through. Number 7 is the FTSE, and that's the one that has slipped down the order this particular week, and because it didn't really make any profit for week 21. But you can see all the other weeks is again doing quite well, $525, $318, $226. And also here we are past the $1,000 with $1,069 or 10.70%. So still, even though you have one little bad week, it still comes out at more than 10% over a 4-week period. So don't forget that when you look at all the different numbers. And then we have gold, XAU, US dollars. It does have an account because it is fairly new. So this particular one, that is also why we have no results for week 18. So there's a good chance that it's moving up. It was number 9 last week. Now it's number 8. And once we get next week's results, hopefully that will also be slightly positive. I think it will move up further on the grid here. Right now, for the last 4 weeks, $978 or 9.78% is definitely approved with just 3 weeks of trading. USD CAD is one of our most popular signals, Link 74C, and that was number 7 last week, and it has actually moved down the ladder. Funny enough, when you look at all the numbers, it doesn't look so bad. And again, I think people like it because it is cashing in. And one of the things that you can do with the copy link service here is you don't have to necessarily copy 1-to-1, you can actually increase your lot size compared to what we are doing. If you think the drawdown has basically proven to be manageable, then you can actually go up by 1.5 or even 2. Or if there's other signals that you find is a bit too risky, you can basically go in with 0.5 instead. So basically lower your risk, but also your profit. But again, the US CAD signal overall $932 or 9.33% is definitely also a very nice signal. US 30 is always up there, and it slid out at one point here because it had a couple of bad weeks, or well, slightly bad weeks, let's say 18, 19 and 21 here, only making a bit of money. And again, at the end of the day, when it makes money, as you can see in week 20, it did 631. So overall, it still managed to stay in the top 10 for this particular week here, $705 or 7.06%. And that is basically the top 10. Now, if we have a look at the development here also for the individual weeks, we can see week 18 was a very nice week. So $5,130 for those particular signals, or 5.13%. After that, we had in week 19, basically almost halving of what we had in the previous week, 2,862 or 2.86%. Week 20, again, a bit better than the week before, 3,290 or 3.29%. And then we have the week here of 21, and that has certainly, again, proven to be quite low. We could see that the results weren't coming in as they normally were, even though we had some spikes, especially on the New Zealand currency here. Some of the robots, as you can see here, did quite well. Other ones were not really affected by it, and that's also what some of this is showing at the end of the day. Now, the total sum for those 10 over the last 4 weeks ended up, so if you would have traded those 10 here, $12,748 or 12.75%. Another good 4-week result, definitely. So as you can see, another good week, another stable week here for the Profit Retriever, and there's even better news right ahead of us here right now, because last week, so we had Alex and Expert Forex here basically come out with this particular video where there's a couple of options here now for the Profit Retriever that is being explored, and that is hedging and directional findings for the alternate settings itself. So right now there is a couple of testers. We are part of that test group. There's about 10 to 12 testers in there. It might be even expanded. It all depends on how Alex wants to proceed. But we are running some basic tests, basically both from the phase part and from the alternate part. And then obviously we're going to take those results and send them to Expert Forex. After that, we will get our hands on the new robot and then do similar testing again to see what type of improvements there will be. If it will be higher profits, it will be lower drawdowns. Will there be more trades? You know, how long is the drawdowns going to be? Things like this is what we basically want to have a look at. So we do expect to make a couple of videos on that in the near future once we have the details. And then after that, of course, when we get the EA in our hands, when it actually gets released, if it gets released here, you should also see some improved results on this particular video series. But don't forget here again that this is not investment advice. This is not trading advice. You and you alone are, of course, always responsible for your own trading. So this is for information purposes only, but we try to give you as much information as absolutely possible, both on our websites and in our videos here, where you can gather all the different details to see which currency works best. Is the Profit Retriever a hoax or not? And as you can see, definitely not. There's not many hoax robots that actually cashes in that much. And over more than a year, we did hear a lot of people in the beginning saying, you know, it's going to crash, and obviously some eventually will. This is Forex trading, so definitely you cannot be without that, unfortunately. But anyway, it is what it is. So, but at the end of the day, it is still a very good EA, and it has proven itself over time, especially now that we have maybe these new settings coming out from Expert Forex and Alex. We are looking very much forward to testing them and seeing the exact results. And obviously you will have a front row seat. If you also give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, you'll be one of the first ones to actually see how all this pans out. So I hope to see you in next week, either on the news report or again on this particular video and weekly reviews. Bye-bye.